May 23rd will mark the end of Title 42, the Trump-era COVID policy, which allowed the federal government to expel migrants to preserve public health. In a statement released today, the CDC said, quote, after considering current public health conditions, the CDC director has determined that an order suspending the right to introduce migrants into the United States is no longer necessary. And joining us now is Cuccinelli, former Attorney General of Virginia and Senior Fellow for Immigration and Homeland Security at the Center for Renewing America. Mr. Cuccinelli, great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it. As you know, the Biden administration is expected to lift Title 42, which was enacted under President Donald Trump. This as the crisis on the border continues to worsen. I'd like to get your thoughts on all of this.
Well, this has not been much discussed in the Biden administration, but the primary way that people have been returned back across the border who've come in illegally is through Title 42. And so people know what we're talking about. It's the public health order on the border that was put in place in March of 2020. And we use that and not immigration law to return over 85% of all illegal border crossers during the Trump administration in under 2 hours. They never came into our facilities, which is safer for them and for our agents, and they were put back across the border. So an enormous logistical accomplishment to do that fast. In the Biden administration, they haven't done as much of it. But I will say the last month of data I saw had over 40,000 returns, and that's virtually the only way the Biden administration is removing illegal aliens out of the United States. So by taking this down, the numbers you've seen that really constitute an invasion in the southern border are now going to get worse. One, because more people will know it's easier to come in and stay in. And two, Americans are going to feel it even more, even if the numbers don't change, because literally tens of thousands of more are going to be simply released by the Biden administration into the United States, which is their plan in the first place. This is not an accident. This is their policy.
Yeah, and I want to stay on the border. We hear, so many stories. And on Tuesday, U.S. Border Patrol agents rescued 18 migrants who were being transported in a U-Haul trailer, and another 16 people from a cargo container earlier in the week. And as you know, President Biden promised to make immigration that is more humane. Help us unpack this and your thoughts on it.
So first of all, you need to understand that illegal immigration is overseen by the most vicious, evil people in the Western Hemisphere, the drug cartels in Mexico. Nobody crosses that border without paying a toll to the drug cartels. Some experts believe the cartels are now making more money out of overseeing illegal immigration than they are out of drug smuggling. I would note, however, that their drug smuggling has gotten immensely easier. It's why you're seeing enormous growth in drug overdose deaths in the United States, because the drugs are getting so cheap, because it's so easy for them to move them across that border now that the Border Patrol is completely occupied with what amounts to a humanitarian mission and can't do much in the way of enforcement. So it affects us in numerous ways, and it is those drug cartels that are running this. And the notion that they are going to be humane, they murder these people. They murder children who don't pay extra fees they charge right before crossing at the border sometimes. It's as inhumane as it can be. The most humane way to deal with this is to stop the flow. And so you dry up these torturous, evil people's money flow.
Ken, we probably have about a minute or so left, but I'm curious, what you're following right now, what you have your eye on.
That's an interesting question. What I have my eye on is the border state governors. They have constitutional authority to resist an invasion. You saw Mark Brnovich, the Arizona Attorney General, at the end of January, issued a legal opinion that what's happening at the border is a legal invasion for constitutional purposes. That means the governor of Arizona has the authority to stop it without federal permission, which also, of course, means all the border state governors have that. So the question now is, will they, in light of the fact that the federal government clearly isn't going to do that job?
Okay, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much for your time today. We always appreciate it.
Good to be with you. Yep. Glad to be with you.